I learned the trick years ago, changing the electronics in Gibson 335 semi-hollow style guitars. And that trick really comes in handy when you're trying to install an acoustic guitar pickup. Now you can buy special tools, or even make special tools, to grab a hold of the in-pin jack and pull it through, but you don't need a special tool. All you need is this piece of wire. Actually, a guitar string does a great job. Now, another tool that you really need is a very thin wrench. This 13 millimeter works pretty well. Now, when I tried to loosen that nut, the whole jack turned, and that's where this handy tool comes into play. An Allen wrench. Now, here, let's look at this. Here's the jack. It has a cap that fits over the end, that threads onto the end, and that cap is what your strap fastens onto. Underneath the cap, there are threads on two different shoulders, on two different diameters of body. Let's look at that. The first nut and washer go on this small area here, this smaller diameter. And that smaller diameter area has a hole through it. Then the larger diameter threaded area feeds over to another nut and washer and a cap that goes over the end of the jack. And that's what fits through the end block of the guitar. Now this Allen wrench fits right through that hole, and it gives us a way to hold the jack in place so that it doesn't rotate. And as I mentioned earlier, that hole is also how we feed our wire through and tie it on to pull the jack into place. So let's watch how this evolves. We'll use the Allen wrench to hold the jack so we can loosen the nut. Once it's loose, you can take it off with your fingers. Keep those out of the way. Now we can reach in here. We've got to take down a couple pieces. And there we are. So there's the old system. Now the new one. So let's first figure out how long we need to have this adjusted from this washer to this shoulder. Because we need to have this just slightly shorter than the depth of the end pin jack, so that this little nut and washer combination has something to push against, has something to tighten against. So we make a little hook in the end of our wire, feed it through the hole. Oops, hook's too big. Make a really little hook. Try to make it a nice crisp bend, right angles. Stick that through the hole, pull on it, and there is the length that we need to adjust this to. And currently it's quite a bit too long. If there's too much of this sticking out, if this adjustment needs to go this way, so that too much of this larger diameter is sticking out, you won't be able to tighten the jack in place. It'll spin. If it's too little, if we adjust this nut too far this way, so there's too little of this larger diameter barrel, we won't be able to fit and tighten the nut and washer on the end. So you need to get it pretty close. And a lot of times it takes a couple of tries. So currently, we're 1/8 of an inch too long. So we just turn this nut about that much. I like it if I have something to jam against, like I do here. Push the washers back down. Check the length again against our wire. And I like to have that in place. Okay, I think we got it about right. About the same length. Like I said, a lot of times it takes more than one try. We've got our jack. We're ready to feed it through. Clearly, we need to stick this piece of wire in through the jack hole down here. Feed it through until we can catch it. Should be there by now. Yeah, there we go. Caught him with the braces. All right, there it is. So now we just tie this. A couple of twists, doesn't have to be, there's not a lot of strain on it. So now we're ready to pull our jack into place. We got all the washers on it. And I'm just pop these goodies into the guitar. Here we come. We can use the other end to kind of tug it into place. And there we are. There's our jack going right through the hole. And I like the way it looks. I don't see the shoulder of the larger part of the barrel coming through, so I bet it's going to work well. So we release the wire, slip the washer over. Now this is a little bit tricky, because if you're clumsy like me, you can push the jack right back through and have to start over. Now finger tight this, thread this nut. It's on, okay. And as soon as we pass that little hole, we're golden. Now we can stick the Allen wrench through the hole and tighten. So there we have it, nice and tight. I like that. We put the cap back on the end, and that's all that's involved in fishing the end pin jack in and sizing it, fishing it through, and installing the end pin jack. The rest of the project's really easy. Or not sometimes, but it'll be different for every kind of pickup. This business of fishing the end pin jack through applies no matter what kind of pickup you're using if you want it hardwired into the guitar. So I hope you find that useful.